What is going on, everyone? Who wants to talk about the volunteer state, Tennessee? The nickname the volunteer state was earned during the War of 1812 because of the major role played by volunteer soldiers from Tennessee, especially during the Battle of New Orleans. Other stories claim that the name came from the Mexican-American War, where 30,000 volunteers joined from Tennessee alone, largely in response to the death of Davy Crockett at the Alamo and requests from then Texas politician Sam Houston. Davy Crockett at the time was kind of seen as a celebrity, and I know he's a congressman at one point, but he was kind of a Tennessee treasure. You know, they didn't take kindly to him getting snuffed out at the Alamo. Tennessee's right here. In case you don't know, the volunteer state isn't very big. It's actually ranked 36th in size and 16th in population. As far as the people of this state, it would be hard to find better people. I've known quite a few people from Tennessee over the years, and I've never known one that I didn't like. I have an old coworker named Carrie. She's from a place called Falls Branch, Tennessee, not too far from Johnson City, and she's one of the best people you'd ever want to work with. I don't need a real job anymore, but if she called me tomorrow and said she needed me to work for her, I would. Tennessee is one of those states that is about even when it comes to people moving in and moving out. People kind of like that state. They kind of stay there. You might be thinking about moving to this amazing state yourself, but before you go, you should probably watch my top 10 reasons not to move to Tennessee. Number 10. Country singers. It's almost impossible to visit Nashville and not be bothered by someone and their demo CD of lame country music. You'll hear some good ones, don't get me wrong. They have some fine musicians there trying to make their way. But more often, you'll hear some that will leave you thinking, how did they think this was a good career move? Sort of like Atlanta and rappers. A lot of the people come to Nashville expecting to be discovered and become the next Taylor Swift. And it gets old quick. I've been to Nashville a handful of times, most recently in 2011. And I can tell you one thing for sure. If you don't like sideburns, you better get used to them if you're moving to Nashville. They haven't gone out of fashion since the 1950s. It's like some sort of backwoods Twilight Zone. Number 9. Natural disasters. Like most of the Midwest, Tennessee is part of Tornado Alley. They get on average about 30 tornadoes a year. And before some 16-year-old says this is a lie because they've lived in Tennessee their whole life and have never ever seen one, stop typing. Do some research, and keep in mind I wasn't just thinking about you when I made this video. Get that all the time. I've never seen one. Well, congratulations. You live in a cave. Moving on, they also get rain and thunderstorms. However, their rain isn't normal rain like most places. Most of the time, if it's gonna rain in Tennessee, it's gonna be dumping rain. It's like some sideburned fireman is hosing you down. Number 8. Humidity. Have you ever wanted to live in a professional wrestler's armpit? Well, if you have, you'll enjoy a good old-fashioned Tennessee summer. Although summer is peak moving season, I'd recommend wait until spring or even as far as fall. Summers are horrible in Tennessee. Temperatures reach up to about 95 degrees, and with the humidity, it feels so much hotter. It's nasty. Nothing like sweating when your air conditioning's on. Number 7. WTF. Now, I know this one can happen anywhere they have idiots, which is pretty much everywhere. But some people in Tennessee really aren't that smart. Back in 2014, a mother of a 25-year-old man in Knoxville, Tennessee, got an alarming text. The text read that if the sender didn't receive $200, her son would be killed. As a parent, I can tell you this is scary for anyone with kids. But not her. Apparently, this wasn't the first time her 25-year-old son had sent this text and tried this scam. She had him arrested for faking his own kidnapping. Number 6. Housing. Although the overall housing cost in Tennessee is pretty low, they should really have two separate stats: Tennessee median home price and Nashville median home price. Nashville is their biggest city and a lot of people move there, so of course prices are going to be high. The average home price in the state is about $155,000, while in Nashville it's almost double that according to Zillow.com. And before you do, stop typing. Go research how averages and things like that work before you make a comment. Number 5. Weird laws. Now, I always include this one because it kind of gives you an idea of how the locals think, where their heads are at, and what's important to them. And they're always weird. In 2016, Tennessee passed a law criminalizing Netflix password sharing, and the governor signed it, which made it a crime to use a friend's password or log in to his Netflix or similar web-based media service, even with the friend's permission. Wow. And here's another good one. Skunks. Have you ever heard of skunk smuggling? Well, it's been such a problem in Tennessee, they passed a law saying that you couldn't smuggle skunks anymore. The law states that no person may possess or import any type of live skunk into the state. That's crazy. Number 4. Taxes. Tennessee is one of those states that has a 0 income tax rate. While that does sound nice, they basically have to make up for it in other ways. They make up that loss in sales tax. Sales tax isn't even 7%, but a lot of cities add an extra local tax rate. In some areas, you're paying around 9.75% sales tax. Nothing like paying almost an extra $10 for your $100 worth of fruit roll-ups, right? Number 3. Moonshine. The most redneck thing ever is moonshine, and Tennessee takes it pretty seriously. It's cheap to make and tastes like it was made to power a jet fighter. What's not to love? The good news is they gussy it up with different flavors, so you don't look like you just sat on a piece of burning cactus when you take your first sip. My advice to someone that may try this: it's an acquired taste. It takes about a cup or two to get past the I want to cry phase. Then you move on to the denial phase, followed by the anger, confusion, and finally the enjoyment phase. Number 2. Traffic. Traffic here is bad, and the closer you get to major cities, it gets worse, like most states. While it's not a surprise that major cities have traffic, what is unusual is most cities don't have any serious public transit, and the roads are only able to support maybe half the traffic that's trying to get on it. On average, Tennessee drivers spend 34 hours in traffic a year. Now, that's according to the Department of Transportation as of 2017. The good news is Tennessee is one of the only states that allows an open container in the car. The only rule is the driver can't have a drink. Now, that's great news if you're a carpooler. You can have happy hour in your car on the way home from work, provided one of your coworkers is in recovery. And number 1, Memphis. That's right, Memphis brings down the whole state of Tennessee. Memphis is always on the worst of lists. Whenever you're making a list about cities that suck, Memphis is always towards the top. It has been that way for years. It's almost like they've decided not to try and fix it. The overall crime rate in Memphis is 163% higher than the national average. This place is filled with crime and poverty. They always seem to go together for some reason. I'm not sure why. The poverty level in Memphis is 83% higher than the national average. So it's dangerous and it's broke. What's the problem here, Memphis? Get it together. You're bringing a good state down. Alright, so that's my top 10 reasons not to move to Tennessee. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Tennessee is actually a really good state. It's got good people. It's just got a few problems, just like every place else. Not a big deal. Memphis, though, that one, that's a mess. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget all the links below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.